Hello, everyone. This is Dan with the Spiritual Underground. Welcome back to the show. If you're just stumbling upon this podcast for the first time, I will tell you that primarily my content is 12-step recovery stuff. I have another podcast that my sponsor and I do. The album art is behind me here. I don't know how well it actually shows up, but it's the I Am 1-2 podcast. This podcast runs the gamut, but that one is really geared at allowing anybody who would like to access the 12-step tools to access them. You don't have to be a addict or alcoholic or a gambler or any of that, or you could be a combination of those things. Uh, or maybe, like I like to say, maybe you just got this feeling that life should be better than this. There's got to be more to it than what I am experiencing. And I can say this it confidently that if you will work these 12 steps and practice the principles that are within them, your life will get better. I can guarantee that. A man guaranteed me that one day. And I kind of in the back of my head there's no guarantees but death and taxes in the back of my head. And later on, I found out that he was absolutely right about this, and I can pass that guarantee forward so that it's like an iPad. It's a small I, which I don't think it would matter. I, the letter M, the number one, the number two. I am 1-2, kind of like I am one also kind of vibe. So we'll get on to the business at hand. Tune into either one of those podcasts all you wish and share them with people that Christopher, my sponsor, is 41 years sober and has been working in the field for 26 or something in chemical dependency. And I don't know there's too many human beings that have more knowledge about what's going on particularly in addiction field, but period in human minds and how the 12 steps can help rewire that, reprogram you. And he delivers a mountain of wealth in that podcast week to week. So find those things on YouTube and every place else. Uh, so today, and I think I can. Erica, you say Carrico or
Yeah.
Carrico?
Yeah.
Uh, did I say it right, or was that just
No,
close
you
enough?
got it. No, no, yeah, you're right. You're right. A lot of people say Carrico, but the way that the
Carrico.
family, I mean, I feel like it should be Carrico, but the way the family says it is Carrico. So,
Okay, yeah,
yeah.
cool. I'm glad to have you here today. We were scheduled for the other night, and then I was out of town. My new
Right.
job has decided they're going to send me places, and I spent all that. I remembered why I don't like it. I don't hate it. It's just that sitting in those airports and that energy that is
I
going
know.
on in airports is just
It's
not my
intense.
vibe anymore, man.
No.
That frenetic energy that just everybody just moving so fast and busting in line and I'm more the lay back. I'll be the last guy on the plane. I don't care where I have to
Yeah.
sit. I'm just not going to charge up there and do all that. And kind of
No.
wore me out. I didn't get home till 1:30 a.m. last night. We were supposed to get home at about 10:30, but flight delays and stuff. And I didn't get in bed
No.
until about 2:30 in the morning.
That's
It just,
exhausting.
yeah, I don't do well with that. But
No, I don't
I was
either.
talking to my sponsor, as we say, and I was talking to him a little bit earlier today, and I am feeling great today. So
Yay. Yeah, you've got great energy.
yeah, yeah, I'm waking up and doing that. But getting back into that hot yoga in the mornings, there's something that does something for my soul every morning,
Mm,
that like charges my batteries.
yeah.
So where are you coming to me from?
I'm in Colorado,
Oh,
so
wow,
Boulder,
nice.
Boulder area. Yep.
Very cool. Our group I was telling you about a minute ago, we do it every fall elk hunting, fishing, boondoggle to near Granby, Grand Lake area.
Beautiful area. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an amazing spot.
Yeah, right on like a backside of the what is it, the Rocky Mountain National Park. I guess it
Yep.
is the park.
I know that
Yeah,
very well. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Colorado is beautiful. Have you always lived there?
I grew up in New Mexico, so I have not always lived here. I grew up in New Mexico, and my parents were all from Iowa, so they're all farmers from Iowa. So I did live in Iowa for a while as well, and then I moved to Australia for 10 years and
Oh,
then
cool.
back out to Colorado. So yeah, kind
Very
of all
cool.
around. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always interested in these people that do all that moving because, as I said a minute ago, man, I am like
You've been
grounded.
here.
My
I
roots
know.
are in here, man.
Right.
I do. I've been a lot of places, but just visiting,
Not
not. I
living.
can't imagine like packing up and moving. It would scare
Yeah.
me to death.
It's a lot.
So,
Yeah. A lot.
you know, most people that are on my podcast usually have had some kind of life event that actually made them take, we call it in 12-step recovery, a bottom. Uh,
Yeah. Oh, we have had a few of
that's
those.
something, if you want to go back and I kind of like have a little background on people about how they grew up and this and that, kind of like how they got to that point where they said, like I said a minute ago about the I Am 1-2 podcast, we got to be doing something better than this. Something has got to
Yeah.
change. This is not working anymore, and I need to find something. Most of us are like completely lost about where to find that at that point in time, right? It's like the
Yeah.
blinders are closed, even though like now I see the world and all the options for different modalities and different
Totally.
ways to do things.
Right.
But at that point in time, man, you might as well be blindfolded.
Completely agree. I think it's so fascinating because my work is based on like, do you feel like your life, you could be living more than what you're living? Like, do you feel, that like you're meant for more than the life you're living right now? And it's so true. I kind of take it from a more of a like a what's your purpose? Why are you here perspective? But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I think we all hit that some kind of a bottom, and mine happened to be a cancer diagnosis, but it came, on the back of sort of everything. Like I think when I was growing up, I always was more of a free spirit, and I lived in the mountains, and I was just, always like digging in the dirt and riding my horses through fields. And I felt like there was so much magic in the world. And I think, as I grew older, and life started to close in on me a little bit with the responsibilities and the bills and the, Erica, you need to get a real job. And what are you doing? We need insurance and we need benefits and we need all the things. And we're getting married and we're getting a family. You can't have your own business. I mean, life just started closing in on me. And I woke up at 36 years old, and I hated my job. I hated my husband. um, I did not like where I was living. I had a baby that I was breastfeeding. I had a toddler. I was working full time. And I think that was my bottom, was like, I was so miserable and so unhappy and holding so much anger and resentment. And I was doing all the things too. I was drinking too much. I was eating too much. I was working out too much. I was doing all the things to numb how I felt. I wasn't looking inwards, like you said. I just had the blinders on. And that was when I was diagnosed with kidney cancer. And that was
Wow.
sort of for me the wake up call of like, hey, you actually might die. And it really made me look at, have I lived the life that I want to live? Am I proud of the life that I lived? Have I accomplished everything that I feel I'm here to accomplish as a soul? And absolutely not. It was devastating for me. I felt like I had not done anything that I really truly wanted to be here to do, and I felt like I had so much to give to the world, and I had my own gifts and my own medicine that I was meant to share, and it might be cut short. So it was a real wake up call for me to, I don't know, I guess get my stuff together. But yeah, I kind of threw a grenade in my life at the time, and I started my own business. I left my marriage. I moved states. I left my job, and it was a real transitional period for me of letting go of everything in my life that was there because it should be there. I felt it should be there. And really building it up with things that truly should be in my life. And now everything that's in my life is intentionally placed here?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's that box checking kind of thing, this deal, this programming we seem to receive that says, you need to do this and then do that. You graduate high school, go to college, get in a relationship, get
Yeah.
married, have babies, buy a home, get a good job, put money in the
Right.
retirement account, and all these things. And I hear it quite often. And of course, a lot of times the booze and stuff like that comes along with it in my world for sure, because people, like just exactly as you said, I got to have some relief somewhere
Yeah.
because I can't face what really is
No,
the misery I'm living in is not working.
totally.
That will
It was,
turn it off for a little while
it did.
every day.
But every day. But then the problem is, and maybe this was for you too, is like every day I'd wake up and it would be like sooner and sooner and sooner. Like I'd make it till the evening time, and then, but by lunchtime, I was wondering, like, well, when can I have a drink? Or when can it just kept, like, my day just kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And it's like, this is not how people should be living. This is
Yeah.
not, we shouldn't be alive just to numb ourselves out from life.
Yeah, and that's just the way the whole substance abuse thing happened to begin with. Was like, heck, I started when I was like 15 years old, 14,
Yeah.
15, someplace in that neighborhood, but you couldn't do it all the time then. And I
Right.
remember it just crushing down on me until it was daily. And then, like you said, it'd be lunchtime at work, and I'd shoot over to the convenience store and down a beer to get through the rest of the day. And the only thing I could think of from noon to 5 was that time getting over so I could get back over to that store, and it's like the universe collapsed on me.
Yeah.
And then,
completely.
you had a cancer diagnosis or anything like that, I always like, there's a Joseph Campbell thing out there on YouTube called Finding Joe. And a guy talks about that the universe will start with a tickle feather.
Yes.
And then eventually it seems like we got to
Yeah.
get the sledgehammer before we listen. Right.
The
And,
two by four. Yeah, it's like the anxiety and the depression, I think, was really the tickle and the whisper for me. Like I was definitely experiencing anxiety. I was completely depressed. And I think those were the whispers, and I didn't pay attention to it. And I think cancer, like ironically, was one of my worst fears. And of course, that is what it took for me to really wake up. But that's also what it took. And I look at it as a huge blessing now.
yeah, what happened with that?
I ended up having surgery. So I had half of my kidney removed and the tumor was taken out. I did not go through chemo and radiation because I felt like if my body created that, there was a reason. Like most people who get kidney cancer are men in their 90s. So
Mm,
all the people that I was in the doctor's offices with, they were like 90-year-old men looking at me like, "What are you doing here?" And so I knew that my body created it for a reason. The doctors told me it was a fluke. And I didn't buy that. And that actually made me feel worse. I knew there was a reason why I got the cancer. And I knew if my body created it, if I didn't change how I was living or the root cause of what was causing the cancer, it would come back. And so I went on like a real spiritual healing journey. And like I said, I got sober. I changed everything in my life. And thank God it has not come back. So yeah, I've been in remission since 2016. So.
very cool. Nice. Good deal. Yeah. Yep. Just to real quick, the hammer hit me. I ended up getting hooked on pain pills, and I was slipping around town, breaking in houses, stealing pain
Oh
pills
my
from people's
gosh.
medicine cabinets. And in the
Wow.
daytime, I got khakis on and a button down, and I'm going to an engineering office. And and it was just this double life thing of and in that, I had some sobriety for a little bit, and then I lost it, and my wife said that's enough of that, and she left, and life just kind of all crumbled down. But then I ended up getting caught, and I stood down there in front of a judge in New Albany that said that the crimes I had committed, the sentencing guidelines for the crimes I committed was 6 to 20 years in the Indiana Department of Corrections. And I kind of had that same kind of, felt like a death sentence.
Right. Oh my gosh, for sure. Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. It
because
is.
you can't make house payments or car payments or
Right.
keep a job, or you can't, it just sweeps everything out from underneath of you. And that's what that stuff about the 12 steps. And I did. I got in that sponsorship pocket, and I didn't spend a day in jail, but I did change
Wow.
everything. And you were
Yeah.
talking
Well
about reading
done.
books to rewire, to
Yep.
reprogram.
Yep.
And part of the reason why I do this podcast is because recovery audio that's out on the internet reprogrammed me. I just
Same.
That's all
Same.
I listened to
Same.
because I was able to keep my job. I'm in there. I was
Yeah.
on home incarceration for a year. Uh,
Wow.
but I'm sitting at a desk for 8 hours a day, and because I had attached everything else to my using, like my, music and football and basketball, and anything was a trigger for
Right.
that. And listening to recovery audio was not, and it would distract me all day, and I would hear these wonderful stories, and then also hear people actually implementing the tools that are within the 12 steps and how they did that, and it brainwashed me, and
Yeah.
my brain
In a
needed
good
washing.
way. Yeah. Yeah,
It
definitely.
needed a big time washing. So yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, so was nutrition a piece of your thing? I would imagine.
Yeah, nutrition was a piece of it. I that was definitely a part of it. I ate pretty healthy before, and I was the person who was drinking green juice and I was doing yoga and I was pretty healthy, so it was really bizarre that that happened to me, but the
Well,
way that I kind of
they're
what's
going to
that?
put there. I heard there's a law that I don't watch any news. I just hear things that they're going to be putting that carcinogen labels on alcohol now.
Good. They should be. Yeah, I feel like that was a big part of it. The sleep, I mean, it affects your sleep, right? So I wasn't sleeping very well. So, I mean, I think everything tied in together. And I think really though, what the piece was for me was I felt so lost. Like I felt like I was really just living life. I was reacting to everything that was coming to me. I wasn't choosing my life. I was just having my life kind of be created for me. And I didn't really have a sense of purpose. And I think what I was really craving was, what am I here for? What am I supposed to do in this lifetime? What is the work that I'm meant to do? How can I make a difference in the world? And as soon as I figured that out, it was like everything else kind of started falling in place for me. All of a sudden it was like, the energy that I was, the thoughts and the energy that were once consumed by alcohol or by food or by, working out or addiction or whatever that was. All of a sudden, I had all this energy to now put towards finding my purpose and impacting others and building my business and, writing my book and all the things. So I think that's something that's missing in a lot of people's life today is just what is their purpose? Why are they here? And not having that fulfillment in their life, I think, leads to all kinds of destruction as well.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause it's like it clogs up the arteries in a sense by doing all this stuff
Yeah.
you really don't want to be, you didn't really
Yeah.
mean to be doing, and it also, like you said, it piled up, and then like once that's happened, it's like how do I? It really takes a lot, and it's scary. There's a lot of fear involved in breaking from that stuff, you know.
It's like a grenade. Like you're literally, I just remember feeling like I had like boom, thrown a grenade in my life and just it blew up and exploded into all these pieces and I didn't know where anything was going to land. And yeah, it's the most terrifying thing I've ever done.
Yeah, yeah. And then, you know, and feel you on the other thing because it's like today, I just on a daily and weekly, and as time goes by, I'm amazed. And people say to you, like, I don't know how you do all you do. I don't know. Either. I don't know either.
Same.
I just get up and do the next thing that needs to be done. And I also, you know, we have this one day at a time thing. You know, I mean, I had this podcast scheduled and I have certain things that I'm doing, but a lot of things are just getting done as they get done. You know, they're
Yeah.
not really on any kind of real schedule kind of thing. And I have this freedom in my life pretty much for today that it really amazes me that I can pretty much do anything I want whenever I want. I'm in some kind of spot that, you know, if I want to pack up and drive, I'm thinking here in a couple, when fall comes, I think I'm going to drive out west and spend a few weeks driving around out west just for
You
fun.
should, because it is so
Uh,
beautiful.
Last
Yeah.
summer, for whatever reason, I was drawn to Gettysburg Battlefield and I spent a
Oh,
bunch of
wow.
time there.
Yeah.
And it was really, and I had an epic day there. One particular day was one of those blow your mind days that, you know, wouldn't mean anything to anybody but me.
Right.
But I get to do that today, and it's just it's like it's fun. There's a childlike optimism that I get to like live under today to be like
Yeah.
peeking around the corner what the next cool thing is going to be.
Which everybody, I mean, I think everyone has the right to live like that. I just don't think that we're meant to be here and slave away in 9 to 5s and building other people's dreams. And yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I
we
got
all deserve
in
to live.
2019. I'd worked for this company for 28 years, this engineering firm. From the time I was 20 years old to the time I was 48,
Wow. Wow.
and one day they laid me off. And I kind of knew it. I tell this every once in a while. The Thursday beforehand, actually, the Sunday was going to be my yoga teacher training test.
Oh, yeah.
I've been taking yoga teacher training,
Yep.
and my test was going to be that. And like me, I wait till the last minute. I don't study. I don't. And I was going to take off on Friday and study for the test on Saturday. And for some reason on Thursday, I got some intuition. Something tapped me on the shoulder, told me, and I sat down at my work computer, and I punched all my personal stuff up to the cloud, up to my cloud, and I packed up my office and put it in my backpack. I didn't have a lot of personal stuff, but I took everything home with me. And I called into work the next
Amazing.
morning and told them I wasn't going to be there. And I really didn't know any of this. I thought I didn't tell anybody because I thought everybody, you know, you'll think I'm crazy because I'm doing. Why are you doing what? And
Totally.
uh, and my boss called me back about 15 minutes later with the HR gal in the office and told me I didn't have a job anymore. And but I knew, you know, it was a door closed, one door closes, another door open. I mean,
Completely.
there was a lot of,
Always.
I was shocked. There was
Yeah.
a shock that I had that I was like, whoa, you know, what am I? And I didn't know I was getting, it took a few days before they let the cat out of the bag. I was getting a really good severance package, but I went like 4 or 5 days and over the weekend not knowing that,
Yeah.
thinking, am I going to end up being a yoga teacher for a living? Uh,
Right.
that was not why I was doing it. But I was self-employed. I've been self-employed for the last 6 years, and everything worked out in that account. And it just organically happened. I didn't. It just happened, and
Well,
I've
it's
been
like course
okay.
correction, right? It's like, I think that's divine guidance when people, I see it all the time when people lose their jobs. It's like kind of the same thing as a cancer diagnosis. Well, here you are meant to be doing this other work, but you're not doing it and you're not going to do it unless something happens and severs that tie and forces you almost on that path. So I always look at that as divine course correction.
Yep, yep.
And had
I
that
was
not
not
happened,
happy.
No, you're never happy. It doesn't feel good. But it's like
But you couldn't let go of the security
you
post. You
wouldn't
know,
have
it's
done it on
like
your
being
own.
in a hurricane, man. I was out
Right.
horizontal hanging on to this post because I had insurance and a
Exactly.
401k and good salary and all this stuff that
Right.
I didn't know that I could let go of.
Totally.
And the universe said, "Ploop,
Bye.
yep,
Right. It
sorry, you're
always
done."
pulls the rug right out from underneath you.
And then they called me back in March and offered me a part-time position that I'm loving.
Oh,
Uh,
that's amazing. Well, that
yeah,
was,
yeah.
see, it all works out.
Yeah, and I got this unbelievably warm, like hero's welcome when I walked back in the office for the first day. It was a
Oh,
trip. It was really, it was not, I was not expecting that.
that is really
It
cool.
was really cool. So I'm having a blast doing that, and like I said, they just sent me down to Florida for a few days to do some work and it's working out. And I'm still servicing. I got a wood shop in my backyard that I do some custom woodworking. And that's kind of like my passion, my creative side. I think that's another
Yeah,
thing that I think that's an essential element.
totally. Yeah.
But to have
Agree.
something, I don't care what it is. If it's crocheting,
Yep.
painting,
Yep.
I don't care what it is. Horses, have
Mine's
something in
horses.
your
Yeah.
life that you really like to do.
Yeah.
Uh, if you can make a little money off of it, cool. But that's not the purpose. I love creating things out of wood. And I get these clients that come and ask me about these creative, they've got a dream, they've got some
Yeah.
idea. Can
Yeah.
you make this happen? And so
Yeah.
I still want to continue to do that kind of stuff while I do this other stuff. And I spend a great deal of time in 12-step recovery.
Yeah.
Uh, my whole
Yeah.
life is pretty much wrapped around that mostly. Uh, if I'm not, making money, I'm working some at a meeting or I'm talking to a guy or I'm visiting my sponsor or I got doing these two podcasts and that kind of stuff.
I
So
love
then
that.
tell me about how where we go from there once you got like broke free of that stuff and started all this on this new journey, turned the corner. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think once I pulled the pin on everything and said enough is enough, I was like, my rug kind of got pulled out from under me too. And I started my own business and I moved out to Colorado and I left my marriage. And now, I mean, it's kind of the same thing. It's like I just show up one day after the next. And now I have this multi-million-dollar company that impacts, people all around the world. And I guess to kind of do the same thing to figure out, what is your purpose? Why are you here? And how can you really use that as part of your healing journey?
yeah, yeah. I'll say this, and my listeners will get tired of hearing it, but there's this thing of these people that are these bright lights in the world, forces for good that are out there trying to help. Because the world, like I said, that airport energy the other day, you watch those zombies moving through there, and people are pissed at the counter, at the ticket counter because of something didn't go the way they wanted it, and it's just and just watch all that go on out there. Like my community is not like that at all. Now
Yeah,
we it is a cool thing about Tulsa because we always got new people coming in to help,
sure.
and
Yeah,
they're like
right,
volunteering to show up too. You don't got to go
right,
recruit them. We don't go recruit them.
right.
They've had that life issue, whatever it happened to be, that causes them to run in. So you always got like this fresh meat pur to purpose on, to help.
Completely.
So,
Yeah,
and
completely.
there's nothing that fills me up more than to take that man by the hand and help him get back up on his feet, and you see just all kinds of miracles happen as a result of doing that. And, I watch these guys get better jobs and they're blown away and they go back to school as adults and stuff they never thought they would do. And so what do you do? What kind of thing, what is this purpose?
Yeah, I help people to figure out what that is. A lot of times it looks different for everybody. So I have this process that I created and it's in the book and it was a course and I've worked with thousands of people like in a coaching, like mentoring capacity and through workshops and things like that. But it's really I suppose helping you figure out, what can you bring back into your life that you can sort of give back in a way, I guess. So like a lot of people do end up starting businesses. A lot of people end up starting podcasts. A lot of people end up moving into something more creative. A lot of people switch careers completely. A lot of people leave the corporate world to move into their business full time. So it kind of varies based on who the person is, but it's really around like a lot of self-exploration. So probably a lot of similar, to what the work that you all do in the 12-step program. It's like not finding who you are, but remembering who you are and
Yeah.
really peeling away a lot of the layers and doing a lot of the healing of past traumas and again, reprogramming your subconscious mind, learning how to really fall in love with yourself and know yourself and who you are and what your gifts are. And the second half of the work is then figuring out, well, how can I combine what I'm naturally good at with what I really love to do and create value in the world in some way, shape, or form. And people really find a lot of purpose through that. And so they come out with all different kinds of things. I think the majority of them end up doing something creative and starting some sort of a business from it. But yeah, it's such a part of the healing journey, I think, in so many different ways, from addiction, from, cancer. For me, it was a big part of my healing journey was leaning into my purpose and doing something impactful to give back. I think so many of us are missing that piece in our lives too.
Yeah. Yeah, that sometimes I think in a sense we need somebody to like give us permission to do that,
Yeah,
and a coach or somebody, a mentor and that kind of
right,
stuff can you don't I don't know what these guys are supposed to be doing and what their passion is, but as we get to know each other and we build relationships and then of course I would imagine you probably had do you have like the 12 steps is there are 12 steps.
right,
You
yeah,
have they're basically exercises that you
right.
do.
Yeah,
Some of
mine
it
is the same
more
as like seven
journaling, some
steps.
of it's other
Yeah,
kind of things, and
right,
like I said, in our world, that one big one. Well, you're doing some kind of inventory to take a look at because I didn't know who I was, and
right.
you'd said something, man, go, well, it was less of finding who I am. It was more of removing who I am
Remembering.
not.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it is for
And
most of us because
yeah,
society builds up, right? And like what we talked about earlier,
we
it's
get
like
trained.
you get trained. Yeah, you get brainwashed, you get trained, and all these things come into your life, and you're like, okay, okay, yes, yes, and none of it should be there. But yeah, all of a sudden you wake up one day just feeling buried, and like everything's closing in on you.
I had hit the jackpot in the mom and dad department, but at a point in time, I had to look at what they put on me that wasn't serving me,
Yeah,
and I
right,
had a lot of trouble reconciling that because of my love for my parents and that they could do no
sure,
wrong kind of thing.
right,
I was
yeah,
not. Now, I do have a lot of people that I run into that have the opposite of that. I mean, some
right,
pretty freaking crappy parenting that has caused a lot of problem for people that makes it a big hurdle for them to try and to get out from underneath of whatever that was.
yeah.
That runs the gamut. You're talking about, recovery from trauma and stuff like that. And I don't know anybody, I've sponsored, I don't know how many people. I keep track of how many people I do fist steps with. I take them down to that cabin in the woods and I do a fist step. It's kind of a confessional kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
It's not really, but it's kind of that. And it's in we try to do it in a really safe place and let somebody get all their skeletons out of the closet. Let's get them all out, buddy. Uh,
Wow.
and it's the freedom that comes from that exercise, but the stories that you hear,
I'm sure
uh,
it's a lot, very intense.
everybody's got trauma. There's nobody that
Completely.
escapes it, and
No.
we won't kind of like say it's water under the bridge. I'm over that. That was a long time ago, and these kinds of things. But the fact of the matter, if you haven't done any real work to reconcile it, to heal from it, it's
Yeah, the
still in
body
there and it's still
remembers.
dragging you back. Yeah,
Yeah.
that body keeps the score kind of thing.
Right. Yeah,
There's a
exactly.
thing in that Finding Joe too, where there's a big Buddha that was in Thailand, and there's a story, the Golden Buddha.
Yeah,
Cover it
I've
with
been to the Golden Buddha in Thailand. Yeah.
well, at some point, apparently some armies were coming by, so they covered it with
They covered
concrete
it
so they
in,
wouldn't know
yep.
it was. And then the little story, somebody come by and accidentally knocked a chunk of it, and then they talk about like once we do that to ourselves, and I crack off a little piece, and I see that gold that's underneath. All I want to do the rest of my life is chip off the rest of that stuff and find all that gold, and that's such a cool place to be in, to where you are actually, you can get there.
Yeah. That's where the magic is. And everybody can get there. I think there's so many different approaches on how to get there. And but yeah, everyone has to take the first step, right? Like that's what it is recognizing that I don't want to live this way anymore, however it is that I'm living, and take the first step to make a change.
Yep. And if you get with somebody and this isn't working, try something
Yeah,
else. Because
exactly.
there's a bunch, shoot, I can't tell you how many people I've had just on this show, and I'm a little podcast in New Albany, Indiana, and the amount of
I
people that
know.
I'm meeting, and not to
Yeah, it's really
mention the
cool.
wealth of stuff that's out there on the internet. But and
Right.
that's the one thing is all the, famous people out
Yeah.
there.
Right.
But there's still a lot of people that are not so famous that are doing great work, and that might be a better thing for you to search out
Yeah,
sometimes. You just
completely.
never know that's kind of what I like about this podcast is that
Yeah,
these people like you are coming, and there's people listening out there that may not be finding what they're looking for. And I've had people that in my circles that have like connected with people that have been on my podcast only
completely.
because of that exposure
Right. Yeah.
and it was what made it click. It's
Right.
that's that well, they found a path. I guess you could say they found their path. You're always
Yeah.
looking for yours, and
Yep.
what works for one person, as you said earlier, it just may not work for somebody else.
Completely. Yeah, for sure. I love that. Definitely.
What's the name of the book again?
The book is called Awaken Your Purpose.
28 Days.
28 days. Change your life in 28 days.
There was a movie called that, wasn't there?
I think so. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
you're
what's that?
right.
What was that gal's name? I can't remember.
Oh, that's not Sandra Bullock, is it?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, there we
I
go.
don't do good with movies. I joke around. Like I can rem I have like a Rain Man ability to remember names and faces of people. Like if I
Oh,
meet you,
interesting.
yeah, it's almost scary.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah, I'm the
it's
opposite.
great. It's beautiful
Yeah,
gift,
that's really nice.
especially in
Yeah,
12-step recovery because people disappear for a couple years.
totally. And then you're like,
And
oh,
then you see them
hey,
and I can go, "Hey, Nick,
that's wild.
good
Yeah,
to see
that's
you."
the
And
gift
they're
for
like,
sure.
"Somebody remembers me here."
Oh,
And
that's
it draws them
amazing.
in, makes them feel like they are welcome to be there. It's tough. It's a tough world to walk into, to come into this, and it works. But I can't remember movies.
Yeah.
I could go to a movie with you tonight, and I could go to
Not
the same
remember.
movie tomorrow night with somebody, and it'd be like new to me. Uh,
That's
I, for
hilarious.
whatever reason, some of these guys that quote movie lines all the time. They're,
Yeah. No,
like,
I'm not that either. No,
yeah,
for sure.
and,
I think the
and
only reason when I was growing up, people always told me I looked like Sandra Bullock. I don't anymore, but I think that was why that stuck out because I usually
I
remember
can
her.
see it a little bit in the eyes and a little
Yeah.
bit. I see a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of funny how I don't know. Isn't that a funny reaction that we have when we're told that we look like somebody else, even if they're beautiful?
I know
You
we're
know,
like, I don't look like that
it's
person.
I just go, yeah, you like reject it immediately, like I
Yeah.
don't, huh? Uh,
It's so true.
that's the other
No,
thing I
I
say, and I've heard it from
don't.
there's something in us too that makes us reject people when like you approach somebody with something that could help them too. Like, this has helped me. Maybe it will help you. My gut reaction is to say, no, thank you. I'm okay. Even
Yeah.
to the point that somebody says, you want a cup of coffee? No, I'm good.
Yeah.
You want
Oh,
a hot, warm cookie out of the oven? Nah, I'm good.
right.
Now I'm better
Oh,
at that now, but that was me a lot in the past, and
yeah.
I struggled to get into 12-step recovery for that same reason that people
Because you
were
didn't know how to
offering it to me.
receive.
I didn't know
Right.
how to receive it. I couldn't say yes to them.
Right.
My
Yeah.
gut reaction was to say, "Nah, I'm busy on
Isn't that
Tuesday. I got something
amazing?
going on."
Wow. And think about how much you push away when you're in that space, right? How much goodness you push away.
Yep. And I'm very careful today to not do things to interrupt the universe's flow of things into
Yeah.
my life. Like I've received today, even if I don't want it.
Yeah, same.
Somebody's looking to give me something, I'm gonna take it with as much gratitude as I can possibly muster.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because I think it like
Experiences
clogs up,
too.
money's like that.
Yeah.
If you can clog up the flow,
Yes,
just like
sir.
that clogged artery thing.
Yes.
If you don't let it, you reject this couple dollars because it ain't enough.
Yeah.
That might just been what needed to come through the hose to let the rest of it
Right. Yeah.
mix,
They always say, pick up a penny. I do. If I
I
see a
do.
penny on the floor, I pick it
Yep,
up.
I do too.
Yeah.
I have my grandmother was a Depression era lady,
Right.
and I
Yeah.
always said that she could rub two nickels together and make a quarter out of it.
Oh, geez.
And then when she passed away at 102 years old or something,
Oh my
nobody had any
gosh.
idea how much money this lady had packed away.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Good for
nobody.
her.
And yeah,
Did
I
you
was
like
like,
hiding it in her mattresses and in her walls and stuff like that, or was it actually in banks?
some of all. She was
Yeah,
very diversified. She had money.
sure.
She had put money like in stocks of companies
Right.
that were nothing back then, like
Right.
GE, when GE was brand new, and these other kind of things like that. And you couldn't tell by the way she lived. You couldn't by the way she talked. None of this kind of stuff could you tell any of it. But it's one of them classic stories like that. I always tell people when they work the 12 steps, and it is a bit of a process. It's going to take 4 to 6 months for us to get through this work. And part of that is how long you sit in that 4-step notebook when we do the inventory. Because I let people, they're doing some specific exercises where I've got them listening and talking and journaling about particular things. And I
Yeah,
ask them to do it for a certain amount of time, a certain amount of days a week. And our lives are busy and
right.
get them to keep that pace. But 28 day, getting making some progress in a month now I know I see my guys make progress in that amount of time, but they're not and there's never a finish line. Thank God, actually. I like that there's no finish line. If I
Yeah.
broke the finish line, it'd be kind of anticlimactic, wouldn't it? It's like,
Yeah, it'd be boring.
now what
Yeah,
I do?
there's not, yeah,
You
exactly.
mean I got to figure it all out all over again
Yeah, no.
and find a new race or whatever?
Yeah.
Uh, do you, is this a book that somebody would do, like could actually buy on their own and just do it on their
Oh
own?
yeah, of course. Absolutely. Yeah. It's on Amazon, it's on Kindle, it's on Audible, iBooks. It's an audiobook, it's a
An
digital
audio book.
paper I mean yeah, it's however you want to listen to it, but I'd say the 28 days is really around finding like the clarity, right? Of what am I going to do next? How am I moving forward? So it's like really finding the clarity. And then of course, it takes time to implement. I'd say it takes most people anywhere from like 6 to 12 to 18 months to really implement and to integrate and make the changes. So yeah, there's that process that's sort of drawn out as well. So it's like clarity in this 28 days as to how you want to move forward, but then definitely it takes longer to integrate into your life.
Yeah, yeah. Do you see the same thing of a way describe it is like when I see a man or a woman set their sails in this direction, I can almost see it and feel it in their heart that they're going. It's a surrender moment most of the time, kind of thing, of
Yeah.
where they go, "Okay, I'll do it," and they mean it, and they've just like set their sails in that direction. Like there'll be some good news tomorrow, like something will happen, some friction that's in their life will clear
Completely.
the very
Yeah.
next day. Like the
Yeah.
universe is like almost rewarding you of going, that's the
That's
right
what
way.
comes.
You've got your compass needle
Yeah.
pointed, from yoga always talks about my true north. And I picked
Yep.
that up, and get my compass needle, finding my true north. When
Yep.
I've got that and I see that happen. Now they don't have a clue about it. And
Right.
I didn't either when I was brand new. My sponsor would have to show me those things. I needed his eyes to see what was going on because I was still blind to it.
Yeah.
You know,
Completely.
this
Yeah.
thing was just dumb luck tomorrow.
Right. Yeah, and
And,
it's
and
not a
I,
coincidence. It's like you made a decision, you've put out there what you want, you've declared where you're going, and it's like it's law, it's universal law, right? Like it has to start moving towards that direction. So I think when we are just sitting there spinning in with no direction and we're just being reactive, like the universe doesn't know what to give us. So as soon as we make that decision, things start happening and they happen fast.
yeah, I picture the ball in the pinball machine hitting those things and just
Right.
shooting off in some direction,
Yeah.
and I felt like that, I just bump up against this and it would
Yep.
shoot me that way
Yep.
until I hit something over there that would knock me back the other direction. And it just felt like I had absolutely no control over the destiny of my life, or
Yeah,
no
same.
agency.
No, right. And everything, it's like the bad things compile too. It's like, oh, really this now on top of that? And it's like when you're in that space, it's all just a downward spiral. But
Yeah.
you have the power to shift that and start the upward spiral. You just have to make some decisions to do it.
Yeah, I like how I think of it as almost like good luck and bad luck, although that's way
Yeah.
too simple. But like I had so much bad luck when when I was swirling in that mire.
Yeah.
And like when I got turned around, it's like my luck changed. So it
Right.
started like most of the time things fall the way I need them to today. Just and after one of my favorite sayings is the evidence piles up so deep that I can no longer deny it.
It's true.
So after you
Yeah.
have this happen and this happen and this happen, that
Yeah.
optimism I was talking about enters into your heart, and then you start like expecting that to work out,
Right.
and
Completely.
rather than the other thing of like
Yeah.
waiting for the next shoe to drop kind of
Yeah.
thought pattern. And there is something to that. That's a momentum building thing
Yeah.
in both directions.
Yeah.
AA and 12-step recovery has so many cliches that I don't think there's probably anybody that's got more than we do. And I'm sure that some of them are borrowed, and there's nothing new under the sun kind of stuff. But the keep on doing what you're doing, you'll keep getting what you're getting, works both
Right.
ways. Works both ways.
Totally does. 100%. Yeah. Yeah.
And the whole thing, if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
so true. It is
yeah.
so true.
I'm a little surprised. Like it seems it's funny to me, and I don't know. I got to wrestle around with this a little bit more in my head about this, because these concepts are not new.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking that goes back to like, I mean, all the spiritual teachers teach exactly that. It's like Neville Goddard, whoever wrote Napoleon
Buddha,
Hill. Yeah, Buddha. I mean, they go
Jesus.
Oh,
Uh,
Jesus.
I
Okay,
mean,
yes.
I'm
They go
talking
all the way back.
old,
You're
and
right.
even
They do. It does. It talks about that. You're so right. But it's not new, but it's like we have to understand that spiritual law. And darkness attracts dark and lightness attracts light, you know?
yeah, it just seems to
So
be part of the
clear.
human condition to have to
Yeah.
go through that process. You can't
Right.
like I would love to be able to like instill that into my children, right? And I
Right.
tried, but
Yeah.
it just doesn't. You can,
They have
it'll
to do
help
it.
them.
I
There's
know, but
advantage to it, but they still can't,
nope. They got to learn it on
and
their own.
they have to, everybody has their journey. I hate that more than
Same.
anything. I've had to do that with a child of mine and watch this journey that's been pretty painful and stressful. And she's still going through it. I spent some time with her today, and like I was complimenting her. I like, you've been gaining weight. And she said, I know, don't it look better? And I was like, yeah, it does. It looks so much better because she was too skinny for a while, and she
Yeah.
fell into the dope and the booze,
Right.
and she got hooked up on that fentanyl for a while,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
she's a couple years off of it now, and she's only 19.
Oh, bless her.
I know it, but to watch that and I gave those lessons. Like when
Right.
I hit mine, I said, "Look, this thing has a genetic component to it. They pretty much proven
Completely.
that it does,
Yeah.
and you're going to be exposed to dope and booze at some point in your life. You're going to be. It ain't a if,
Yeah.
it's a when." And you're going to have to make a decision on what you want to do with it. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to arm you with the facts about me, and you will make your decision. But I'll at least know in my heart I warned you.
Completely. I know.
Uh, and I
It's
got
like,
one's a teetotaler and one went off one way, and
right.
you,
You
what
can't
can you do?
protect
You can't
them.
do
I
anything.
mean, you have to just walk alongside them and let them have their journey. I mean, you can't control their lives, you know?
Yep. Only medicine I have is love.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
I just
Yeah.
have to love on them. It seems like that's what it comes back to too. Is I've got a good friend that's in recovery, and I listened to him on the internet for a long time, and then I was able to meet him, and now we're friends. And
Oh, yeah.
he just turned 82, and he invited me to come down to his house in Nashville, and I went down there and spent a day with him, and he did some workshops with me and stuff. I mean, I liken it to like if you were a high school football player and Tom Brady invited you over.
Oh, yeah. Right. It's like,
It's a little bit like that. I'm a little bit
yeah.
starstruck
Right.
because I've been listening to him for a long time, and a
Forever.
lot of what comes out of my mouth is his stuff. It's stuff that I
Right.
picked up
Yeah.
listening to those tapes and stuff.
Right.
And
Right.
he just wrote a book, and it's called and every time he writes a new book, I have him on the podcast, and he's uh, life is a lesson, life is a school, love is the lesson.
Oh, I love that.
And it's all about, and it's on Amazon too. I can send you a
Yeah.
link to it.
Okay.
And we have a little group that meets on Tuesday mornings and we read books together. We do book
Oh,
studies
cool.
where we
Yeah, that's
sit down and
amazing.
meet for an hour and we read through the book. And we just started on his book there the other day. I sent him a big group photo of us all holding up his book and everything.
That's
He's
awesome.
he's going to come up stay with me next week after next. He's going to come up here and stay with me and I'm going to take him fishing.
Amazing.
Uh,
That'll be so
so
fun.
cool. It's just another one of these, again, these things that just fall in place that it's
Yeah.
like, wow, how do I get to do this? You know,
Yeah.
I listened to this guy on the internet like he was a movie star to me, I mean, he was just spouting wisdom left and right, man, and I'm glued
Right.
to it. And now I
Right.
look down and he's calling me on my
I
telephone and
know. It's
it's like
wild.
so
It's
cool.
wild.
And I
Yeah.
probably have put him up on, gotta be a little bit careful about that, putting people up on pedestal kind of stuff and be, he's still just as human and he's
Sure.
we say garden variety alcoholic, just like me.
Yeah.
But he's got a lot of years of practice in this and a lot of, I heard somebody the other day give a definition for wisdom is actually pattern recognition.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. Huh. Pattern recognition.
You
Yeah.
start seeing it A, B, C. Well, D's going to happen, and you
Right.
start realizing that. And at some point in your life, you're dumbfounded by D happening. Wow. Huh?
Right.
And later on, you get better at that and see it.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. You got anything else you want to talk about? Anything you want to say? If you can't tell,
I mean, yeah, we could probably talk for a while. But yeah, no, I think that pretty much covers it. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
yep, I will put your information. You did a great job of doing that. Sometimes I have to fish that up, but I like it when people provide all
There.
that
Yeah.
data
Yeah.
that I can copy into show notes for folks so they know how to get a hold of you and they can hit the Amazon link and things like
Perfect.
that. And I'm an audiophile.
Your audio. Yeah. I'm visual. If I listen,
Sometimes I like to have both.
yeah.
I actually do both sometimes. I
Yeah.
have a couple books right now I'm doing both with.
Oh,
Uh,
cool. That's great.
Yeah. So, But the audio thing gives me an opportunity to like read everybody's book that comes on here that has it on audio,
Sure.
and
Yeah,
I
right.
get to do that.
That
And
is
so
cool.
I'm excited about having another thing to put in my library.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah,
All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your evening. And
thanks, you too.
I do just in time delivery with this stuff.
Okay,
So this will come out. So I put out new content every Sunday morning.
cool.
So
Sounds great.
Sunday sometime you'll see an email from me with the links and all that kind of business.
Amazing. Sounds perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was great meeting you. And
Yeah, you too.
this has been fun. I love your
Yeah.
smile.
Oh, thank you. I love yours too. All
Have a
right.
good evening.
You too.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.
So we'll see how this works. Great lady, wasn't it? Super cool. So lucky to be able to like hook up and discuss stuff with these people from everywhere. I mean, I say it on the podcast to them, and I'll say it to you right now. I just continue to be blown away that I get to sit around and talk to all these awesome people, that, uh, you know, Jordan Peterson's not knocking at my door, and Orion Taraban is not knocking at my door, and Mel Robbins and Brene Brown and those kind of people. But we have these other people that are in the world out there that maybe haven't, and I don't know. Maybe I just haven't run into Erica yet. Maybe she does have that kind of exposure out in the world. Um, But these wonderful people are out here doing this work for the good, and they come send emails into my telephone wanting to be on my Spiritual Underground podcast, and it's humbling, and I'm grateful for it. And if you're not having a blast in your recovery, you're not doing it right. And thank you all for allowing Erica and I to participate in our recoveries, because carrying this message along is a huge part of, I'm sure if I'd have got to talking about that with her, that's that purpose we're talking about. And, uh, and I kind of changed that around to say that, hell, thank you for allowing me to demonstrate uh, my recovery in this manner today, get to participate and carry this message and try to help somebody. So peace out. Keep on listening. Share them. Check out the IM1 too also. And any questions, anything, Dan at spiritualunderground.org. Dan at spiritualunderground. All one thing. I know it's a lot of letters. Dan at spiritualunderground.org. And those of y'all that know me know I got 5 or 6 other emails you might contact me with. So use any of them. I think they all work. Love y'all. Peace out.